Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 12th Annual Spirit of Greatness Gala, a virtual experience.
I'm Devin White, the National President of the Clark Atlanta University Alumni Association, and I welcome you to the 12th Annual Spirit of Greatness Gala, brought to you virtually for the first time in the event's history. The Clark Atlanta University Alumni Association understands the importance of this event and thought it absolutely necessary to continue the tradition of hosting this prestigious program even while transitioning through a worldwide pandemic. The Spirit of Greatness Gala was created by the Clark Atlanta University National Alumni Association to honor outstanding individuals who have made significant contributions in their careers, communities, and their alma mater. The event was also organized to raise scholarship dollars for our scholars who are currently matriculating through Clark Atlanta University. Over the past decade, the Spirit of Greatness Gala has raised more than $1.6 million for scholarships to assist deserving CAU students. Thousands of students have benefited from the Spirit of Greatness Gala. At this time, I'd like to introduce to you our 2020-2021 Miss Clark Atlanta University, Miss Amaya Crocker, and our 2020-2021 Mr. Clark Atlanta University, Darius Rowdy Moore, to introduce this evening's Mistress of Ceremony.
Our Mistress of Ceremony for this year's Spirit of Greatness Gala is our very own Mrs. Jolene Butts Freeman. Mrs. Butts Freeman is an Emmy Award-winning journalist from Atlanta's WSB-TV. She has more than 20 years experience working in communication and public information. She's an inspirational and public speaker and believes in encouraging young people to be their very best and to follow their dreams.
Mrs. Butts Freeman teaches as an adjunct professor and has brought her industry experience back to her alma mater, CAU, where she comes back full circle and serves as the Director of News and Media Relations for Clark Atlanta University. Without further ado,
we introduce to you
Mrs. Jolene Butts Freeman.
Thank you, Amaya and Darius. I'm extremely excited to serve as the Mistress of Ceremony for the 12th Annual Spirit of Greatness. Now, we're normally in person, all dressed up and ready to experience the outstanding accomplishments of our honorees while celebrating our students, because that's what this event is all about. What you're about to experience this evening is the Spirit of Greatness at its virtual best. And greatness is one word that best describes our beloved Clark Atlanta University. Now, in keeping with CAU's tradition, we will now open for our program with the invocation from Reverend Dr. Tanya Miles, Clark Atlanta University's chaplain.
Thank you, Jolene. When the children of Israel were preparing to make their way into the promised land, before they stepped foot on ground, God said, "Look back. Look at the dry ground and see those stones? Take some of those stones and remember what I brought you through." Brothers and sisters, here we are on the other side of this pandemic, gathered to celebrate this evening the Spirit of Greatness. God has promised many things. Most importantly, God has promised to be with us. So as we gather to celebrate this evening, I invite you to pray with me to the one who has, is, and shall always be with us. Brothers and sisters, let us pray. Gracious and loving God, we give you thanks for this day. We give you thanks for your faithfulness and your love. We give you thanks that you have brought us thus far along the way. We give you thanks that we are here to gather to celebrate greatness, greatness that can only come from you. So we ask that you would stir up the gifts within each of us, that as we gather this evening in celebration, we might remember those who came before us, the students who are in our midst, and all that is ahead of us as we strive to do your purpose and your will. We give you thanks for Clark Atlanta University and our president, Dr. George T. French, Jr. May you continue to bless this place. May you continue to bless all of us, that in everything that you would be glorified. It is in your holy, righteous, and most matchless name that we pray. Amen.
Reverend Dr. Miles, your prayer was heartfelt and well received. Thank you so very much. Now at this time, I'd like to thank the Clark Atlanta University Alumni Association and the Gala Planning Committee for inviting me to serve as your Mistress of Ceremony, and would like to congratulate our outstanding honorees who will be accepting the Pathways to Excellence Awards and the Thomas W. Cole Jr. Legacy Award tonight. We begin our program with an opening selection from a world-renowned group of CAU students who recently performed at this year's NBA All-Star Game, our very own Clark Atlanta University Philharmonic Society, under the direction of Dr. Curtis Powell. Performance by our Philharmonic Society. Now, as we have already mentioned, the Spirit of Greatness benefits our students So how fitting that at this time we introduce you to a few Shining Star Scholars from CAU. Please welcome our 2020-2021 Student Government Association Graduate President, Ms. Khadijah Bryant, and our 2021-2022 Student Government Association Undergraduate President, Ms. Autumn Epps. Ladies.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I am so honored to be here with you all this evening. As a student who graduated just a few weeks ago, I can attest to how important the Spirit of Greatness Gala is to the student body here at Clark Atlanta University. Events like this could not be possible without the financial support of our corporate sponsors and partners. Let's recognize them at this time. They are the Coca-Cola Company, Delta Airlines, Cox Enterprises, Centene Corporation, National Black College of America Hall of Fame, West Rock, and Georgia Power.
Our other sponsors are Devin and Joy White, Rick and Lakeisha Robinson, Stephanie Russell, Alan Sherry Reed, Melanie Campbell, Helena DuBose, and Brenda Walker. Once again, to our corporate sponsors, partners, and all who have made contributions to this year's Spirit of Greatness Gala, thank you for your unwavering support. It helps scholars like us continue our higher education journey with a bit of ease. And it brings us one step closer to accomplishing our goals. And for that, we are thankful.
Khadijah and Autumn, thank you so very much, ladies, for recognizing our corporate sponsors and partners. Now, as we move forward in tonight's program, recognizing our trailblazing alumni and students, we must certainly realize that no historically black college and university can be successful without strong leadership. Our president, Dr. George T. French Jr., during his tenure at CAU, has brought millions to the institution, increased corporate partners and sponsors, all while successfully leading the university through a worldwide pandemic. I could surely say more about our dedicated president, but instead, let's bring him forward to share a few words with you.
Good evening, Panther Nation. To Clark Atlanta University Alumni Association President, Devin White, members of the Alumni Association, volunteers, and yes, to tonight's award recipients. It is indeed an honor and a privilege to welcome you to the 12th Annual Spirit of Greatness Gala. Yes, albeit virtual. I am so very grateful to the Clark Atlanta University National Alumni Association for its continued vision in hosting one of the university's key signature events, which benefits the CAU Scholarship Fund. Yes, it's all about the students. As we close out this fiscal year, I reflect on a word which I shared with my Board of Trustees during our May meeting to describe the path forward for Clark Atlanta University. And that word is momentum. Momentum. The word is apropos because that is the trajectory that we have been on for the past 21 months. Momentum, defined as strength or force gained by motion or by a series of events. I've been amazed at the momentum that has permeated throughout the university. This momentum has created opportunities for strategic cultivation and partnerships, for renovations, new developments, and new initiatives and exciting programs. Allow me to take a moment to share some of the transformative things that have occurred at Clark Atlanta University over the last 21 months. We received a $15 million unrestricted gift from philanthropist Mackenzie Scott. This represents the largest individual gift ever received by our great university. We recently also received a $3 million gift from the Tucker, Georgia-based House of Cheatham to support the Robert H. Bob Bell Center for Innovation and Entrepreneurial Development. We recently also received a $1 million gift from the Charles Zuckerberg Initiative, supporting the new HBCU Executive Leadership Institute here at Clark Atlanta University. This institute, known as ELI, will identify and train future HBCU presidents. We also announced at commencement the $1 million commitment from the National Coalition on Black Civic Participation to establish the NCBCP Thomas W. Dortch Jr. Southern Civic Engagement, Leadership, and Social Justice Institute and the Southern Regional Office at Clark Atlanta University. When you return to campus, you will be excited as you see all of the new signage and branding and the new gate entrance of the Harkless Hall quadrangle. It is beautiful. I don't have enough time to share with you all of the accomplishments, but please know that you have played a key role in beginning the momentum. How? Because you raised over $1.5 million since the inception of the Spirit of Greatness Gala, and I salute you for that accomplishment. I'm also delighted this evening to honor the contributions and great works of 5 prominent local and national alumni influencers who are pillars in our communities. Tonight, we will also share in celebration as we salute the Pathway to Excellence Award honorees. These honorees, Valicia Butterfield Jones, CAU alumna, Stacy Lee Spratt, CAU and AU alumna, the Honorable Marvin Arrington Sr., Clark College alumnus, Jack A. Reed, CAU alumnus. In receiving the highest award, the coveted Dr. Thomas W. Cole Jr. Legacy Award, named after the first president and my friend, President Emeritus of Clark Atlanta University. CAU Trustee Emeritus will receive this award, Dr. Eldridge W. McMillan, Clark College alumnus. So, as you can see, our honorees represent the best, the very best of the Clark Atlanta University. They are trailblazers in their respective fields, and their contributions have shaped and informed the very course of history. We're honored to support and celebrate their excellence this evening. Thank all of you for your virtual presence, for your time, your talent, and most of all, your treasures, those sacrificial gifts which you contribute to support Clark Atlanta University and those gifted scholars whom we serve. Enjoy the rest of your evening, and we look forward to seeing you on the beautiful grounds of Clark Atlanta University during homecoming week in October. And we look forward to seeing you in person for the 2022 Spirit of Greatness Gala. Good evening.
Thank you, President French. At this time, we will have a few testimonials from some of our students who have graduated from Clark Atlanta University and who have benefited from the generosity of the Clark Atlanta University Alumni Association and the Spirit of Greatness Gala. Now, listen closely. You'll learn why your support is more important and very much needed.
Good evening. My name is Jada Franklin. I am a senior business administration major with a concentration in marketing from Snellville, Georgia. And tonight, it is the great pleasure and privilege that I have to acknowledge the Clark Atlanta University National Alumni Association. I was fortunate enough to recognize that my calling for higher education would be adjusted soon after my freshman year. I transferred knowing that my previous institution stretched half the coin Clark Atlanta University would require of me. This year in particular was my first year handling a payment plan, No more loans, strictly dependent on my 9-to-5 and outside resources for tuition funding. Sacrifices such as the comfort of residing on campus as a heavily involved student, the anxiety of graduation clearance, and my 2-hour-long commute back and forth to school all played a factor in what I had no idea was going to happen next. Just as fall semester was coming to an end and my payments were backed up, the National Alumni Association contributed to my tuition being paid in full. Thank you. The support of the scholarship, as well as other rewards from organizations such as UNCF, brought back life to dreams that were put on the back burner. I was blessed with the opportunity to study abroad to not only 1, not 2, but 3 locations, with also being able to be influenced outside of my major and study mental health in the African diaspora of Paris, London, and Rome. Just got back. I have interned in industries such as entertainment that exposed me to the marketable potential I display within the placement of different positions, and I gained the discipline to grant access to my open mind with closed priorities. My future plans involve being a big platform advocate for the natural hair industry and also it being presented across all barriers. Being a recipient has enhanced my ability to grow as an individual who understands the significance of persistence. As a student obtaining the legacy of such a historically rich institution, and as a sister, mentor, and friend to the present and future that remains on Clark Atlanta University's campus. My words, ladies and gentlemen, may not be capable of communicating the depth of my profound joy and gratitude for the National Alumni Association. Their support encouraged me to keep moving forward, and I cannot stress that enough, so thank you so much. As a senior, it's refreshing to be a product of their great works, as I plan to do the same thing as soon as I cross the commencement ceremony stage. Their continued support will influence more students like myself who are looking forward to be catered to as a token of being gifted and the future of Clark Atlanta University. Again, thank you so much for investing in me, because your gift matters.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Trishonda Mooney, and I'm from Montgomery, Alabama. And where? Okay. Yes. And I stand before you this evening as a graduating senior, majoring in mass media arts. I'm someone who has faced many challenges, beginning with living beyond the expected age of 8 years old after being diagnosed with sickle cell, yet I'm still here. Thank you. Fast forwarding to 18 years of age, I had to fathom the idea of getting a college degree on the salary of a single widowed mother of 6. But I graduated within the top of my class, receiving my Associates of Art degree in Fashion Merchant from Barnard College, then returning spring 2019 to Clark Atlanta University to finish my last 5 classes. I was told that my financial aid had ran out, and I would have to come out of pocket to pay a little over $12,000. But I stand before you today saying thank you, because with your help and with in the combination with UNCF scholarships, that balance is paid in full. Thank you. This evening, I stand before you all as a skillful and talented entrepreneur. As of March 2017, my production company, Fourth Moon Productions, was registered with the state of Georgia. I'm a producer and content creator, looking forward to collaborating with artists of various mediums to bring my ideas to life. Fourth Moon Productions empowers those same artists in understanding the business while stoking life in the dying areas of art and humanities. Lastly, I stand before you all this evening with a heart full of appreciation for each and every one of you. Thanks to Clark Atlanta University National Alumni Association for your support through the National Alumni Association Scholarship. Whether you gave a financial seed, I say thank you. Given your time and wisdom speaking during our classes, I say thank you. Wearing CAU paraphernalia out and about, helping others to seal their decision in choosing the illustrious Clark Atlanta University, I say thank you. I am a product of your seeds of greatness falling on fertile soil to leave CAU and bear much fruit. As a graduating senior, I eagerly anticipated joining you all in giving back and assist and encourage others, as you all have set an extremely high bar. Thank you all again from the bottom of my heart for investing into me, because your gift matters.
Wasn't that heartwarming? It's pretty clear that the Spirit of Greatness is all about our exceptional students, past and present. Now with that, I encourage you all to make your donation to the Spirit of Greatness Scholarship Fund by texting CAU-SOGG to 44321. I'll repeat that one more time. Text CAU-SOGG to 44321. Now next you'll hear from our newest member of the Clark Atlanta University Executive Team, our Vice President for Institutional Advancement, Dr. Richard L. Lucas.
Our students will always come first at Clark Atlanta University. The ability to provide scholarships is paramount in fulfilling their scholastic dreams. We are here this evening once again to make a difference. I am Richard L. Lucas Jr., and I serve as your Vice President for Institutional Advancement. I wish to thank the Clark Atlanta University Alumni Association in conjunction with the university for creating the Spirit of Greatness Gala, celebrating our alumni and community leaders who carry our torch of excellence that sustains us. Furthermore, the name of the award, Pathways to Excellence, speaks to our past and present. Congratulations to each of our honorees, including the recipient of the Dr. Thomas W. Cole Jr. Award. And thank you again so very much for your support. Remember, you can invest in our students and make a difference by donating and texting to CAU-SOGG to 44321.
Now it's time for the moment we've all been waiting for, the presentation of the Pathway to Excellence Awards and the Thomas W. Cole Jr. Legacy Award. Now, the Pathway to Excellence Awards were created to recognize outstanding alumni and friends of Clark Atlanta University for their individual achievements, contributions in their professional careers, service to their community, and demonstration of loyalty to Clark Atlanta University. Well, tonight, the Pathways to Excellence Awards and Thomas W. Cole Jr. Legacy Award will be presented to 5 exceptional individuals: Jackie Reed, Marvin S. Arrington Sr., Stacy Lee Spratt, Valicia Butterfield Jones, and Dr. Eldridge McMillan. Our first 2 recipients are Miss Jackie Reed, followed by Mr. Marvin Arrington Sr.
I was born in Philadelphia because my father was in the military. He was actually in the Air Force, but I was born on the Navy base in Philadelphia, but it was a stop-off. Right before I even turned 1, my parents moved to Atlanta, Georgia, where I was raised, so I consider myself a Georgia peach and Atlanta girl. Once I got to college at Clark, I ended up working for the Panther newspaper, got all the way up to managing editor. I also was a part of all of the productions going on at CAU-TV. We did talk shows. I remember interviewing people. I remember being an intern at WCLK and covering a fire at a prison. You know, there was like so many things. It was like there was nothing that we could not do as students at Clark Atlanta University. Whatever we wanted to do as media students, we did. And I just remember the students that were there with me, we all had the same mindset that we were just going to take on the world. You know, we were creating TV shows, we were creating magazines, we were covering whatever was going on in the city and around the world. We did so much. We did so much. And so from there, I went to graduate school because of a program that I heard about while I was at Clark. I went to Northwestern University, to the Medill School of Journalism, and studied there. Really established myself as I want to do broadcasting, because when I was at Clark, I dabbled with being a print reporter, but then I had an internship at a newspaper and I was like, that's not gonna fly. So I decided to go into broadcasting, and shortly after graduating, maybe 2 months after graduating, I got my first job in Brunswick, Georgia. And from there, I was lucky enough to get a job at WKYT in Lexington, Kentucky. And would you know, my next job was in Houston, Texas, which is a big jump. I went from Houston to CNN Headline News, so I was back home in Atlanta. And then I went to BET to become the news anchor of the BET Nightly News.
This is the BET Nightly News, our newscast with Jackie Reed, covering our world, our issues, and our culture. The BET Nightly News starts right now.
It's still to this day one of the proudest moments in my career because of the team that they pulled together, and we collaborated with CBS News to create something that had never existed and to this day still does not exist, an all African-American produced nightly newscast that focused on news of the day, nationally, internationally, locally, that was of importance to people of color. And I'm so proud of that show and what we did there. It's definitely a proud moment in my career.
Well, that does it for this edition of BET Nightly News. BET Tonight with Ed Gordon is up next, and we'll see you again right here tomorrow night. I'm Jackie Reed from Washington, D.C. Have a good night.
And then I got into radio. Ended up with the Tom Joyner Morning Show. I was with that show forever. It recently ended after so many years on the air and really being a force in the African American community. Tom Joyner retired. And so now I do a television show in New York called New York Live. We also do a show in Boston called The Hub Today for your people in Boston, let them know. So there are 2 half-hour separate shows. We do them live. And one of the things that I love doing so much is my podcast with Joy Reid, who's on MSNBC. We do Read This, Read That. That's R-E-I-D this, R-E-I-D that.
But they've built a country that's multiracial and then are shocked that it's multiracial.
Girl,
and now you're like, how come are all these brown people here? You created that.
The caucasity, one of my favorite words now.
Caucasity.
Caucasity. And then I also do Vegan Sexy Cool, which is a website, it's a podcast, it's a YouTube channel, it's a movement. At Clark, instantly, I was able to find what it meant for me to be a journalist. I was able to find my way. I instantly found my people, you know, so to speak. I became a part of the newspaper staff there. I mean, I grew to be managing editor eventually, but initially I was a staff writer, you know, taking classes in Mr. McJunkin's classes, and my classmates and I would go to NABJ conferences as students. We would travel and go to workshops. We were so hungry, but I had a group of people that were hungry along with me. I can say definitively, I would not be doing what I'm doing today if it had not been for the time that I spent at Clark Atlanta University.
Hey everybody, and good evening. First and foremost, to God be the glory. I would not be here, trust me, without the Lord's hand in all that I do. I also want to send a special thank you to my parents, Jack Reed and Gail Reed, and thank you to the CAU Alumni Association, CAU, and President French, and congratulations to my fellow honorees. This is such an honor to receive this from CAU because my time at CAU was a pivotal part of my pathway to excellence. I can vividly remember being an intern over at WCLK radio station, being a student in Mr. McJunkin's really tough journalism classes, working as a managing editor of the Panther newspaper, shooting shows in the TV studio, a lot of all-nighters, a lot of late nights at the MassCom building. I think they call it MMA. They do call it MMA now, but we called it MassCom back in the day. But my experience at CAU helped me to focus and equip me with those core journalism skills necessary to thrive in this business. But most importantly, my time at CAU gave me confidence I didn't even know I needed. See, CAU, like many HBCUs, gives students of color a chance to shine and thrive. At mainstream institutions, Black students can be overlooked or left out. That can leave you feeling like you don't belong, like you are invisible, or leave you feeling like you just aren't good enough, even though you actually are good enough. I was seen at CAU and I was heard at CAU. And who knew that I would have so much to say? Still talking. CAU showed me that I could be a successful journalist. And so by the time I landed at Northwestern's Medill School of Journalism for graduate school, I was equipped with what I needed to deal with any bias or institutional racism that the world would throw at me. Issues that I've actually had to deal with my entire career. And yet I'm grateful that I am still standing, representing God, representing my parents, and repping CAU. Thank you guys again for this honor.
It all started at Clark Atlanta University because I met my football coach, LSF, whose favorite quote was, "Good babies don't cry. You just get it done," you know. He gave me a scholarship when I didn't think I was going to get a scholarship. I was focusing in on getting me an education. My next step was I went to Howard University Law School in Washington. At that time, there was no white schools in Georgia that would accept Afro-Americans. It was so degrading, and, you know, because you got on the train down at Terminal Station, you had to board it from the back. You could not go into the dining hall. And I always will remember the shoebox. You know, a couple of sandwiches, a couple of pieces of fried chicken, some cake, and some orange juice. And that's what you did. You went from Atlanta to DC, and you could not sit in the front of the train. You had to sit in the back of the train. Once you got to DC, they started letting blacks go to the dining room and do other things. But DC wasn't no better at the time. It was hard in DC. I ran into a dean by the name of Ben Johnson, who received me and asked me, "Would you be interested in coming to Emory?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "But would they accept us?" They treated us fair at Emory. I mean, you know, I did my work, you know, passed the bar exam, went on to practice law. But can you imagine when we went to Emory Law School and graduated, there was no firm to practice with. You know, just absolutely, you know, so we had to just kind of kick around. I ended up law practicing for Leroy Johnson, which was very, very interesting, because Leroy Johnson was the first state senator, and when I first went to a Fulton Superior Court, I had to wait in line to file my papers or whatever. And Leroy said, "Nope, we're gonna file our paper like everybody else." And they wouldn't even let us use the water fountains. But he said, "Nope, we're gonna drink water out of that water fountain." And it all began with him. He gave me courage, he gave me strength to hang in there. And that you could be somebody if you insist on your rights. And that's what I tell young people now, particularly my two children. Don't let anybody tell you no. If you think you're entitled to be somewhere to do something, move very aggressively and try to accomplish that particular goal. I created the first integrated law firm in Georgia, Arrington and Rubin. Dick Rubin was a young Jewish guy who had a great, great heart. He and I practiced together for 12 plus years. Never had a dispute, never had an argument. The issue of race never came up. There was an opening on the Superior Court level, and I asked the then governor, Roy Barnes, if he would give me consideration for it. He said, "I'd be more than happy to." And I was appointed judge. And I was pleased with that. It was a challenge being a Superior Court judge. What I did not like, and still do not like it to this day, I don't care anything about the death penalty. One of the reasons I thought it was time for me to move on. And they said that, you know, AU was about to fail and Clark. Max said, "Why don't we just merge the two?" I said, "What would be the name of it?" He said, "Clark Atlanta University." I said, "It never passes, we'll see." He made the motion, I It passed within 10 seconds. Then came Clark Atlanta University. I am committed to Clark Atlanta University. I'm not going to walk away from it. Where would Marvin Arrington be but for the fine education I received at this institution and the instructors that I ran across with? And just great people. There's no word in Webster Dictionary that could adequately express my appreciation for this high honor by my university. Clark has meant so much to me over the years and been very supportive of my progress, and I'm thankful from the bottom of my heart. Thank you to a great university.
Congratulations, Ms. Reed and Mr. Arrington. Our next two honorees are Ms. Stacy Lee Spratt and Ms. Felicia Butterfield Jones.
I am from Jackson, Mississippi, by way of Toledo, Ohio, by way of Saginaw, Michigan, by way of Cleveland, Ohio. I lived in all those places growing up, but home for me is Jackson, Mississippi. That is where my best friend and I decided to come to Clark Atlanta University. I was on a full scholarship playing basketball my freshman year, but I wanted to have a funky good time, and I was like, Coach Brown, I don't think I'm gonna be able to play my sophomore year because I wanted to be a Delta. I wanted to participate in activities. I wanted to be an orientation guide. And my major was, dual degree. So basketball took up a lot of time. My time being a Delta, my time with my line sisters, my time with the work that we did on this campus was unforgettable. I've been coming to Clark's homecoming since I was young. Both my parents went to Clark College. I have been getting my homecoming on since I was 5 or 6 years old. And I just can't remember even missing a homecoming. I joke with my dad because he's the homecoming king. He comes back and he goes harder than I can possibly go. My mother actually stayed in Murner Hall. So we literally stayed one door down from each other. She stayed on the first floor. My mom was Miss Murner Hall, and I was first runner-up to Miss Murner Hall. If you look at the wall of Miss Clark Atlanta University's, I am the only first attendant with Miss Clark Atlanta University on the wall in the picture. So I didn't win Miss CAU, but I did win Miss Michigan USA in 2004, where I raised over $100,000 in the fight against breast and ovarian cancer. Graduated from Clark Atlanta, degree in mathematics and Georgia Tech industrial engineering. I went and worked for General Motors for 5 years. There would be days that I would wake up and I would just cry because I wasn't happy in the work that I was doing. I wasn't fulfilling my purpose and I wasn't fulfilling my passion. That's when I literally decided to leave a great paying job and came back to Clark Atlanta University to get my MBA and started my own business at the same time. Your passion allows you to sleep at night, but your purpose is what wakes you up in the morning. And I wake up every day excited about offering young people scholarships. It's what I thoroughly enjoy.
Hey Panthers, my name is Pinky Cole, graduate of the class of 2009.
And I'm Stacy Lee, graduate of the class of 2000 and 2008. And we are here to encourage you to give, and give. Not just your dollars, but your resources also, and your time.
Pinky is the owner of Slutty Vegan. She and I decided to pay off senior balances of over 20 students that attended Clark Atlanta University and that will graduate this May. They'll be able to walk and graduate from our institution because these balances have been paid off. Every year since 2006, I've hired about 30 Black and brown students and graduates to work for me. So it's giving them an employment opportunity and also a mentorship opportunity to also coach them through entrepreneurship, coach them through, even if they want to work in corporate, but just having that relationship with young people and me being a mirror image of what it is that they can do outside of, you know, Clark Atlanta or any other HBCUs is really, really uplifting for me. The love I have for this institution goes far beyond. It's ever since I was little. Good evening, and thank you so much for this prestigious award. Thank you to the Spirit of Greatness Committee, and thank you to Dr. French. It's truly humbling to receive this award, and there's so many emotions attached to it for me. One thing is that my father received the Thomas W. Cole Jr. Legacy Award in 2016. So to follow in his footsteps is humbling. To be recognized by alumni and other people, it's humbling. And the work that I do it because I love it. And I do it because I understand that service is the rent we pay in order to live on this earth. This award is special, giving praise and thanks to God first and foremost. Without him, none of this would be possible. That was something instilled in me at an early age, that to whom much is given, so much is required. My parents instilled that in me as a young girl. My mother is why I serve. It's why I serve my community. It's why I serve students. It's why I thrive on educating Black and brown kids and providing them an opportunity to be educated. She is that pulse for me. My father is my business-minded person. He's the reason I strive for entrepreneurship. He's the reason I have the work ethic that I have. They are why I am who I am today, standing strong. The love I have for Clark Atlanta University, I know the love that we all have for Clark Atlanta University is intense, and we all talk about what Clark Atlanta did for us. Now it's time to get an understanding of what we can do for our institution. And that's making sure that we give back, not just talk about our experiences, not just talk about what Clark Atlanta did for us, but actually reach in our pockets and give back to our beloved institution. As I close tonight, I understand that the work continues, providing a way or making one for our Black and brown students. The work continues for us to provide opportunities for scholarship. The work continues to give back to our beloved institution. The work continues to educate our students on entrepreneurship. The work continues in our community to serve our community, to serve our students. If you can't give back financially, give back through your knowledge. Give back through your resources. Give back through your company's internships and job opportunities. Thank you, thank you, thank you for this award. Thank you to my flight crew. Thank you to my village. And thank you to my husband for all your love and support as we continue to find a way or make one.
I've spent now almost 20 years doing diversity and inclusion work in the entertainment industry. I did it for President Obama and now at Google. I grew up in Wilson, North Carolina. It's a part of the rural part of the South, and I was a young girl that had big dreams. I didn't have a lot of confidence though, and so growing up as a product of two parents who both attended HBCUs, there was a lot of pressure on me back home to attend North Carolina Central University. And so I'll never forget going on a campus tour of Black colleges when I was in high school, and I went on Clark Atlanta University's campus, and immediately I knew that I felt like I was at home. And so that's where it all began. My most memorable moment at Clark Atlanta University was definitely the fashion show during homecoming my junior year. And I'll never forget being just such a shy girl, and a lot of people didn't know that about me. And so I would just fake it. I would fake my confidence, I would fake my swag. But the truth is that I was so afraid to speak publicly and to model, right? To walk in a fashion show. And some of my friends who are in this room tonight probably remember me walking in that show, and I had short hair. It was fire engine red. And I walked that runway and felt so proud of myself because I was just surrounded by a sea of Black students and Black faculty who were just rooting for me and made me feel like I was enough. So when I grew up in North Carolina, I had big dreams to work in the entertainment industry. And so a part of the reason why I attended Clark Atlanta was because, of course, it was in Atlanta, known for its mass comm department. And I knew that I thought I would build a lot of relationships. And so I'll never forget my first semester on Clark's campus. I did all of the research and found that Wu-Tang Clan had an office in an apparel store in Atlanta on Peachtree. And so I had no money, I had no car, but I had a lot of hope. And so I started walking one day and asked a couple people around the AUC, you know, where was Peachtree? And they said, oh, that's right down yonder. And so I took off walking after my last class that day. This is like maybe 2 or 3 o'clock. 3 hours later, I arrived at the Wu Wear store in Atlanta, and they were closing the door. They were done for the night. The gate was down, and I just started crying. And I sat on the stoop because it was getting dark outside. I didn't drive there, I walked there. I didn't have money to catch a taxi. And I just started crying for a few minutes. And then I pulled myself together and said, no, you walked here for this. You came to Atlanta for this. You're gonna go get this. And I knocked on the door, and sure enough, a few minutes later, someone came down. I pitched myself, gave my best elevator pitch on why I should work for them, and I was hired on the spot that day. And so that's where my career began, as a freshman on Clark's campus, working for the Wu Wear store and Wu-Tang Clan in Atlanta in 1996. And so it's crazy when I think about how sometimes you could just get right there, right? The next step is actually the door opening to your dreams, and sometimes we give up. And in that moment, I had a choice of whether I wanted to give up or pull myself together and figure it out. And that's what I did, and that's where it all began. I'm programmed to just go hard. I'm programmed to make it happen. You know, I think of me working in a Fortune 100 company, working every day in rooms where usually I'm the only woman, definitely the only Black person. You know, I'm just constantly pulling from the energy and the motivation that Clark gave me. And so I know that whenever I'm the only one in those rooms, not only am I always thinking about what I got and what I received from being on Clark's campus, but I'm also reminded, right, that it's now my responsibility to make sure that I'm not the only one in the room. And so for me, it's, you know, find a way or make one. That was our motto at Clark, and it is literally the soundtrack and the voice I hear in those rooms when I get a little nervous, or when, you know, I have a little doubt. You know, I think about, you know, I made this happen. And Clark is the reason that that is the case for me. Hi everyone, it is Valicia Butterfield Jones, and it is my distinct honor to accept the Pathways to Excellence Award from my great alma mater, Clark Atlanta University. Tonight is such a special night, and I'm so sad that we can't be together, but the pandemic has caused all of us to stretch and innovate and find new and creative solutions to still come together and build community. I want to thank Clark Atlanta, to our president, faculty, to the board, to every staff member and volunteer and student and person involved in the Clark Atlanta University family. Thank you for seeing me. Thank you for recognizing the work and, more importantly, the impact that I hope you felt I've led over the last 2 decades. It is an honor tonight to stand before you as the incoming co-president of the Recording Academy, home of the Grammy Awards. And I can honestly say that my 2 decades-long career would not have been possible had it not been for the training, the nurturing, and the mentorship of Clark Atlanta. And I forever am so thankful and grateful to you, CAU, because you prepared me for the real world. You prepared me to be a woman in business, and you prepared me to use my voice even when it shook. And so to my fellow honorees, I salute you. I honor you too. And I'm so very proud to be in this class of honorees for the Pathways to Greatness celebration and award. You are most deserving. And as I close, I'll say to every student who may be wondering why you had to experience COVID-19 during your college matriculation, just know that you are even sharper, even more resilient, and even more prepared to thrive against any obstacle that may come your way for the rest of your life. And so I pray that you will see this not as a hard thing, not as a hardship, although it is, and although it was, but also as an opportunity for you to stretch and lean into all of your gifts, because I know I have. I love you guys. Thank you for joining tonight. I hope we get to see each other soon in person, but until then, please continue to support CAU. Please continue to invest and give back to Clark Atlanta, and please remember to always lift as you climb. A career that is a solo sport is not at all sustainable. So make sure that you're building your career, but opening those doors a little bit wider for others following in your path. Thank you. Congratulations, everyone.
Congratulations, Ms. Spratt and Ms. Butterfield Jones. Our Pathways to Excellence honorees were amazing, weren't they? Now, we aren't quite finished yet. We have one more very special award to present, the Thomas W. Cole Jr. Legacy Award. This award was created in honor of Clark Atlanta University's first president, Dr. Thomas W. Cole Jr. Dr. Cole was appointed the first president of Clark Atlanta University in 1989. That was my graduation year. And as our president, he led the largest UNCF institution with approximately 5,200 students and an annual operating budget of $120 million. Dr. Cole was named President Emeritus upon his retirement on July 20th, 2002. Clark Atlanta's Research Center for Science and Engineering was also named in his honor for his outstanding service of 30+ years as a faculty member in the Department of Chemistry and for his outstanding service as the university's president. The Clark Atlanta University National Alumni Association unanimously agreed to create a legacy award to a deserving alumnus in his honor. Ladies and gentlemen, this year's recipient of the Thomas W. Cole Jr. Legacy Award is, drumroll please, Dr. Eldridge W. McMillan.
Well, you know, I could write a book about my childhood and growing up. Obviously, I grew up in the days of segregation. I was born in Georgia. My father was a Methodist minister. He always said, whatever you choose to do in life, be the best of it that you can be. Quite frankly, I wanted to be a journalist. I went to the local black paper when I finished college to see if I could get a job as a reporter, and I was told the best they could do was give me a job selling papers. And so opportunities for African Americans, even with college degrees, were fairly circumspect. One could be a teacher, a preacher, a lawyer, a doctor, a postal worker, and not much more. And part of mine was a need to fulfill a feeling that I have and had that I could be anything that I wanted to be if I had the opportunity.
He worked for the Department of Education in a civil rights capacity and ultimately was recruited to become the first African American to head the Southern Education Foundation. And that really has been his dream job, if you will.
The Southern Education Foundation under Dr. McMillan's leadership has achieved monumental things to ensure African Americans have access to the best higher education resources available in this country. But I think in his role on the Board of Regents, he's able to affect public policy in a way that would further those same educational goals.
He was the first elected black chair of the Board of Regents in state history.
Well, if you live and grew up in the South, then you would recognize that's a very big deal.
The board members are appointed by the governor of the state of Georgia to 7-year terms. January of 2005, he will mark his 30th year on this board. It is unheard of.
You know, I applaud the governor who appointed him. It was a difficult time to come on the board, but it also was an opportunity.
Eldridge, early on, as you might imagine, when he first got on the board of Regents, dealt with a lot of the desegregation issues.
He came on board in 75, so you can imagine the tone and tenor upon his, entering into this austere governing body of the state's, best and brightest civic leaders and business leaders, etc. And he's a voice for the African American student who is demanding access.
His focus is the establishment of opportunity. His focus is the elimination of institutional barriers to success.
Eldridge is acutely sensitive to making access to the system not just a goal or a dream, but reality. The Board of Regents oversees all of the 34 colleges and universities in the Georgia system. Eldridge has seen the system grow from a few tens of thousands of students now to almost 250,000 students. He's seen the quality rise immensely.
We've been very successful with the investment that has been made in the university system in building high caliber academic programs, and now 2 of the university system's public research universities are in the top 20. Our SAT scores are increasing. The GPAs, the grade point averages of our students are increasing.
The University of Georgia, Georgia Tech, if you will, Georgia State, your research universities, instead of the brain drain, we're able to afford those scholarships or incentives financially through the Hope Scholarship to retain our better students.
The state of Georgia, if you can really begin to look at the progress that we've made in this state. I mean, we were at the bottom, and to have made the movement and the progress that we've made to making Georgia one of the most attractive states academically, where people want to come. And Eldridge having played such an important, such a massive role in that, having seen it, literally seen it from its worst of times, and carried it and nurtured it through the best of times. Yeah, he deserves this award.
Congratulations to you, sir, and to all of tonight's honorees. Now at this time, let's welcome our esteemed president, Dr. George T. French Jr. and Mr. Devin White, president of Clark Atlanta University's National Alumni Association, back to the stage to give closing remarks.
This has been a wonderful evening. Thank you to the Clark Atlanta University Board of Trustees, our esteemed President, Dr. George T. French Jr., our National Alumni Association, the Spirit of Greatness Gala Committee. We also would like to thank our corporate sponsors and partners, our student ambassadors, the CAU Philharmonic Society under the direction of Dr. Curtis Powell, our Mistress of Ceremonies, Ms. Jolene Butts-Freeman, and of course, you, our CAU family and viewers. Without your support, this event would not have been possible. Remember, you can invest in our students and make your donation by texting CAU-SOGG to 44321. Remember, you can make your donation by texting CAU-SOGG to 44321. President French.
Thank you, my good friend Devin, for all you do and for your leadership as the president of Clark Atlanta's National Alumni Association. Our Alumni Association is strong. It's strong. And as I mentioned before, it takes alumni. It takes our corporate partners and our friends working together to contribute by volunteering their expertise and giving financially to help Clark Atlanta University to continue to be one exceptional university with a bright future. Thank you all. Thank each and every one of you for joining us this evening. Now, please stand where you are as we sing our alma mater.
Thy noble tricolor now ripples the breeze, bridging the mountains, spanning the seas, calling thy sons and thy daughters so true. In Clark Atlanta we rally to you. In alma mater our hearts be thy throne. In Clark Atlanta thou reignest alone. In Clark Atlanta thou reignest. In Clark Atlanta thou reignest alone. Hail alma mater we ever aspire, thy sacred mission to fulfill entire. Thy noble banner has lifted our way. Hail to the crimson, the black, and the gray. Reign alma mater, our hearts be thy throne. Reign Clark Atlanta, thou reignest alone. Reign Clark Atlanta, thou reignest. Reign Clark Atlanta, thou reignest alone. Deep in our hearts shall thy precepts abide. Culture for service, our goal and our guide. Through stern privation, through fortune and fame, we'll find a way and achieve in thy name. Reign alma mater, our martyr, forever we pray. Let the tricolor that heralds thy sway fly from the ramparts of learning so free, for we shall ever be faithful to thee. Reign alma mater, our hearts be thy throne. Reign Clark Atlanta, thou reignest alone. Reign Clark Atlanta, thou reignest. Reign Clark Atlanta, thou reignest alone.
And now let us remember those who have left their footprints on our campus and in our hearts. Let us remember our fallen Panthers.